Today we're going to start creating our sphere with our oil pastels using analogous colors, which again are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. Yesterday we did this with cool colors and we created this sphere using blues, greens, and then a yellow green. Today we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to use warm colors and we're going to create this effect. So we're going to start like we did yesterday. We're going to draw our light source. I have mine coming from the top left-hand corner. And then I'm going to draw in my highlights, midtones, and my shadows. So remember, we want to keep these perfectly round. They are touching just very, very tiny near that light source. They do touch. They come all the way around to complete a circle. So this is what we do not want to ever see. We don't ever want this. This is incorrect. This is a bad egg effect that we don't want. We want it to be perfectly round, so we're going to have perfectly round highlights, midtones, and shadows. The first thing we're going to do, just like we did yesterday, is we're going to start out with our highlight. So here I have my white, and I'm going to, using the side to keep that nice point, I'm going to shade in my highlight. I'm doing this with kind of a harder pressure because this is going to stay white. Okay, now I'm going to start moving out, but I'm not going to apply so much pressure because I'm going to be blending it, and we want to be able to blend. If I do it too hard, it won't blend correctly because it will have too much buildup. It'll be too waxy. So you can see that now that I'm doing this lighter, I can see some of that paper through it. That's okay. And then in this third layer, I'm going to do it even lighter, using that scumbling effect. Okay, so in my example, you can see that we have that bright white highlight, and then as we get farther away, it becomes yellow. So I'm going to take my yellow oil pastel, and I'm going to start going over that white in that second layer. Again, using my round scumbling technique. I've done it in the second layer. Now I'm going to go back into my third layer, pressing a little harder, using the side, rotating so I keep that point. Okay. So now I have that. Remember, I want to start blending so that I don't see a line. So I'm going to go back with my white. I'm going to start blending, and you can kind of start to see how that's happening. Pressing lightly, not too hard because I still want to be able to see the yellow. Okay, so now everything's blended, and I can start going in with my next color. Again, we're on the analogous color scheme. We're moving this way to keep that warm color scheme. So I'm going to go into my next color, which is orange. So I'm going to come over here, get my orange. It might look a little bit red to you. This is a red orange, which is fine. This is the color I'll be using. So I'm going to lightly come in, scumbling, using the side, rotating to keep my nice even point. It's touching ever so slightly near that highlight. Okay, now I have to blend. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go back with my lighter color, which was yellow, and I'm going to start blending so that I can't see that division. I want it to have a smooth gradation. Your yellow is going to get a little dirty. That's okay. You can clean it later. Don't worry. I'm pressing kind of hard right now so that I could blend everything together. Using my oil pastel as a tool to blend. Alright, so now I can go into that third section. Now I'm going into my reds. So I'm going to pick up my red. Make sure you don't have rust, you have red. And I'm going to start going along that orange. I'm doing this lightly. The reason I don't push too hard for any initial color is because if I push too hard, it will build up a really waxy layer, and then you won't be able to blend anything afterwards. It'll be really hard to fix any mistakes if you make them. So I'm going real lightly, so I can always cover it up if I need to. Don't want to push too hard. Okay, so now I have these lines, so again, I'm going to go back and blend with that color, with my orange. So now I'm blending, blending. Nice gradation. Let me touch, just barely. Alright, so now I just have this little sliver that I still need to do. Now, here I have two options. I can either add black and make a shade, or I can do something a little different, and I can add red's complementary color, which is green, and that will also provide me a darker shade of red. So I'm going to choose to do this with green so that you can see the effect. And I'm going to ever so lightly put in my green color. Very lightly, just along the edge. It's going to go so tiny near that highlight. Very lightly. I'm doing this really lightly or I'll get a green. It'll look green, which I don't want in the long run. I just want it to look like a dark red. So don't press too hard or it'll be green. Okay, so I've laid down my green and now I'm going to go back with my red and go over that green. Blend. You're already starting to see it. You're having a beautiful sphere that looks three-dimensional using color. And voila, looks beautiful. So now if I see any spots that look like they're not blended, I can go back with that original color and blend it all in to look really nice. But you should have a very nice looking sphere at this point. If it doesn't look like a nice sphere, then you either need to go back and make sure that it looks circular, not egg-shaped, or you probably need to blend some more.